Ritty Ramble, episode 78. Have you ever been told to fuck off by a duck? Well, riding home from work just then, and literally that's what happened. Riding along on the road, there was a couple of ducks on the path next to me, and came along, and then next thing, I saw the duck coming towards me. I'm like, I honestly was thinking, where is its head? I can't see its head. And then as I got closer, I realised it had ducked down, was aiming its head at me with its beak open, was like giving me some form of like growl or bark or something like that, but it was telling me to fuck off. Which is interesting. I don't think I've had that happen before. So that brings me to my first thing. I have been riding to and from work pretty much solidly for the last 2 weeks, something like that. So I'm actually starting to have some more physical activity in my life. I'm slowly achieving it. I'm slowly reaching my goal of replacing the gym, which I wasn't doing properly, with actual exercise of some form. So riding to and from work, both in the morning and at lunch, and on days where I can't, I'll drive the car and then I'll try and ride that afternoon, etc. So it's been going well. I've been enjoying it, trying to make it my habit, so it just happens every day, and it's going well. Also, I have managed to find a boxing bag, but now I've got to find a way to mount it. So I was looking at like the boxing bags with the stands and without the stands, and even looking for the stands by themselves, etc. And none of this shit is cheap. However, I did manage to get a boxing bag, which was fairly cheap. It was $20, and it's a decent size. Needs to be cleaned, but that's okay. It's only been inside for like a week and a bit now in my kitchen. Oh, fucking. So, I have a boxing bag. It's in decent condition, but I need to mount it now. And the stands themselves are usually like $300-400 for the metal ones. But that's of the usual design where it's got like that kind of stand. You stand here, and it's got an arm that comes out and the bag hangs here. So you're meant to sort of stand here and punch, but then you're limited by that because the legs get in the way. And then you've got variations of that where you've got like the pull up and chin up stuff behind it and the speed bag and stuff behind it. But I just want a boxing bag that I can punch, move around, step backwards and forwards, etc. And finding one's not easy. However, when I was looking at cheap ways, I did find a video online that had, granted I think it was between two trees and it was a decent thickness piece of wood, and it was mounted on that, and he was moving around freely, and that gave me the idea of having like two basic sort of beams and a cross beam with it hanging in the middle so I can move freely around inside. Now obviously that can make it fairly large, and then can make it fairly heavy, and then the portability and stuff. But I've developed an idea, and I'm going to show you right now. So this was my initial sketch. It's not to scale, as you can see. It's very narrow, and it's not that long. Like, it's not girthy, and it's not that long, and it's kind of got odd bits which aren't quite right. Insert joke here. And I developed an idea further. So last night I was up till 2 AM in the morning, working on this. And not that part, just zoom out of it. There it is. I was working on this. That was in a free online program. It wasn't necessarily that easy to use, but it gave me a way of having, okay, the size, which is I presume pixels, I'll use that as centimeters. And I measured the boxing bag, figured out roughly how high I want it, did all those measurements, put it in there, in that height, and then from there worked out, okay, how much room do I want? Measured that. And then that came together with that size and that diagram, or that model, that 3D model. So, in theory I should be able to open it up again and zoom around on it, so let's have a look at that. So I've got a couple things that I want to play with, or I'll adjust on the fly, and it's all material based as well. But the basic idea is you've got your main support legs, which I want to make them a little bit longer, a material sort of providing, so that way it can support more from the rocking forwards and back as a punch. Not that much room either side, but it's enough to sort of like punch beside it and then sort of duck through, etc. And that's what I'm used to doing at the PCYC when I used to do punch fit, is that I have their bags hanging fairly close. But it still gave you that freedom of movement, and you could still duck through it and go underneath and punch underneath, etc. So it's exactly what this will provide. The other sort of things I'll have to do, which is all material based, and what brackets I can buy, is maybe some support beams to support it from rocking backwards and forwards. Like if I get this decent size bracket for fairly cheap, I won't need to do that, but I dare say I have to use a little of the offcuts to create 45-degree beams to give that extra support. But again, I want easy way to take it apart. So the cross beam will be bolted in and just undo those bolts, and that top section comes off. Those main pillars, again, just bolt in, but supports, would have to sort of look at it, but I'm contemplating whether I can, I didn't put my phone on, so I'm contemplating whether I can use the 45-degree supports, but maybe not attach them and just have it taut between them, or whether there's another bracket which is attached, which can be removed with bolts. It's all up in the air and that stuff, but the main thing I wanted to know is how much material I'll need and what sizes, etc. So obviously I can look at whether it's 10 by 10 square sort of planks, or whether I'll go like a 10 by 5, but that's all about looking at the material, feeling how it feels, and also if I go a 10 by 5, I'm going to look at which direction it's sitting to be able to provide the most support. Whereas if I just go the 10 by 10s, it's got that already, but then it's heavier and it's bulkier. And the final thing, which is not in that diagram, is to potentially put it on wheels with locks and stuff, but that's later on. Initially is get it on there, get it in, and then start punching. So that's the basic idea, and it's getting there. So the other things is, I'm sitting here recording another video, thinking, I've got about 5 videos to edit. Why am I recording another one? Sounds kind of productive, and it is. But I just need to sit down and edit videos, and the hope is if I can edit 2, maybe 3 videos in a night, and then the next night or a couple of nights later do another couple, then I'll suddenly be up to scratch, and I can then release these videos. And yeah, it's just one of those things. It takes time. So many other things I want to do, and so many other things I've got to do. But yeah, I don't know which order I'm going to release these in, so I'm going to say the whale watching was good, or is going to be good, depending when the video comes out. But most of you seeing me in person have already found out about this. So yeah, and something else. The final thing I mention is this watch, which I've done one video on. I've got a couple more plans for videos, but basically it's currently showing my ride from work, which has been helping me to actually get in there and do it. Whenever I get something new technology-wise relating to fitness, I always tend to get this spurt of doing it. That's why I'm trying to do it right now, of riding to work. So it's not just the watch, it's also part of my habit, and that's why I'm trying to get the boxing bag mounted and in, so it's can start using that, and it's not just part of a fad of, oh, I can track it and then it's gone. It's part of, I can track it now and that fad can start it, and then I can continue it as my routine. So say for example, I'm riding to work every almost day, and then every like twice a week or 3 times a week start boxing and doing a couple of long rides, and then doing hiking once every month or something like that. So I'm getting close to achieving that. It's just getting the time and the motivation to get all the pieces together. But yeah, the pieces will come together. It's looking good. And another reason I want to get back into boxing is I need a way of just getting out the general daily sort of. That was really good when I was doing Punch Fit, and I don't know if it's like stress related. I haven't felt really stressed. Like this general sort of stress of deadlines and trying to get everything all pieced together and shit, not quite going right here and there. This is all predominantly work, and it's honestly it's nothing bad. It's all within normal work sort of related stuff. As you would all know, deadlines are deadlines. So, but I think it's related to that. I have 2 fucking ulcers in my mouth, and they fucking hurt. The first ever in my life. Like I've had plenty of blood blisters from biting my lips, and they look nasty. But you have the initial pain, which is so much, and then there's the pain afterwards, which is about the same, but slowly going down. This was, I didn't notice. Then suddenly it fucking hurts. Eating, drinking, eating, fucking, and cleaning my teeth. Cleaning my teeth is the worst. Yeah. I wouldn't recommend mouth ulcers, because they're not fun. So, yeah. And no, I've not seen a doctor. Why? Why would I? My diagnosis is 2 to 3 weeks and I should be all healed. Any longer than that and I'll be going to see a doctor. So, maybe add another week, because I'll probably forget. Not about the pain, but forget about how long it's been. So, that's the update for that. I think that's pretty much it. Like, there's the usual shit going on around the house, and a few projects. Got a few projects going. Like I've set up one of the Raspberry Pis with RetroPie. I've got a couple of controllers, but the left arrow on one of the controllers is a piece of shit. So I'm contemplating taking it apart, see if I can fix it. And also trying to get it to work with a couple of the emulators, because it works on a couple and not all. And then I want to put it into a box with some extension cables, and that way it's all nice and neat. The IOs are on the outside, and you just plug in, away you go. And the other one is using some old car stereo stuff. I literally have 4 car stereos, 6 speakers, doing nothing, and I've had them for like 10, 12 years. So, I'm doing something with them. 1 stereo, all 6 speakers, maybe I'll make that 1 stereo, 4 speakers, and a cheap, small subwoofer into a wooden box of my design, which will run off 12 volt, so you just plug it in normal power and it'll have a PC power supply, or depending on how much power I need, a specific 12 volt power supply, and away she goes. Yeah, that's my projects, all cheap little projects, except for the boxing bag, but the gym fees is going towards that. The gym fees I'd set aside for the rest of the year are going towards that, so should be good. So, I'll see you in the next video. Fucking retard. Well, I hope you enjoyed this Ritty's Ramble, and I hope you also enjoyed all the rambly goodness with 0 calories. Thank you for watching.